You know that saying, you can only lose 100% of your money, but you can make 2,000%? Yeah, no. Somehow WallStreetBets manages to lose more than 100%, as you'll unfortunately get to witness firsthand. Everybody who YOLOs their life savings into risky trades is intoxicated by the prospect of never having to work a day in their life again. The vast, vast majority of people fail. When you fail, it's over. Your life is literally over. I love laughing at these, and I'm sure you do too, but you have to realize that behind this post is a person whose future is quite literally demolished. So let's get into these. Oh god, we're starting off with a banger. So this is the midst of the GameStop rally. This arrow shows the time when this is posted. As you can see, GameStop was crashing after its initial rally. Literally 13 minutes later, he posted the fact that he lost 5 million more after the initial 10 million loss. A couple of days later, he had a 10 million gain. The last time he posted about his GME position, he was again down 10 million. I really hope that he sold after the market gave him a couple of opportunities to break even after GameStop temporarily rebounded, but considering his diamond hands mentality, it does not seem likely. Unfortunately, considering what we know, he probably lost millions off of this. We gotta understand, we all hear about the GameStop millionaires like deep frickin' value, but for every person who became a millionaire off of GameStop, there are probably 100 people who lost everything. Parents don't know that this is what I did with my college funds. I mean, to be honest, considering these losses, he probably would have failed out of college anyway. Looking at this, it's hilarious how consistently he lost money. It's not like there was one violent implosion at the end, he just made a series of losing trades, one after another. If you're consistently losing money like this, it might be time to reevaluate your trading strategy and how it probably doesn't work. I hate to say this, but only throw around money you can afford to lose. I mean, you probably shouldn't be throwing around money in the first place, but if you are going to, maybe don't siphon your college funds to fuel your degenerative behavior. Oh god, why did I audibly laugh when I first saw this? But I do think this serves as a cautionary tale about going against the trend. You are not Michael Burry. Yes, I also think that these companies have literally nothing going for them, besides the fact that they somehow shoehorn AI into their business, so the investing hive mind throws their money into them.
The exponential performance increase is AI, and the energy source is AI. The arrival of computing and AI is timeless. Accelerated computing and AI, an important method for advancing AI. The world's leading AI companies, the Big Bang of AI, the AI heard around the world.
Got him! Got him!
But it's precisely because of that I would not short it. Yes, if everyone was rational and the markets were perfectly efficient, this might well be a justified short. That's clearly not what's going on. Ride the trend. Don't try to be the lone warrior fighting for your beliefs when literally everyone else actually moving the share price thinks differently from you. And you're probably just wrong anyway. Let's just ignore the 90k loss for a second. This guy has $1.16 in his account, and yet he only has 16 cents of buying power, meaning that he bought $1 something. My guy's really trying to climb his way back with a single dollar. I mean, if he can go from 90k to 1, he just needs to inverse everything he's done up to that point, and then he can go from 1 to 90k. So this guy started with 50k and 5x'd it in a matter of days during the GameStop rally. Was that enough? Of course not. He held his position with diamond hands while it imploded. Then, GameStop rebounded, and the universe gave him a second chance to cash out with a 150k profit. But that still wasn't enough for him, and it crashed again. Great job, buddy. This shows that people on WallStreetBets could literally have everything go perfectly for them and yet still manage to lose money. If you're really that greedy, that 5xing your money wasn't enough for you, then you really do deserve to lose money. This guy's wife noticed that he took $10,000 out of their bank account to invest. Unfortunately, that 10k is now 3k because he bought at the top of the Bed Bath & Beyond rally last year. She's gonna be absolutely pissed when he finds out. I'm gonna dump my life savings to put on his marriage. I'm pretty sure you guys have heard of the First Republic Bank collapse a couple months ago. This guy bought directly after the initial crash when it went from around $130 to $24. He dumped 200k into it, and then at the time of the screenshot it went down to 12. I really hope this guy sold after this, because the stock price proceeded to go down even further to 17 cents at the time of scripting, meaning his initial 200k investment, if you didn't even call it that, would have lost over 198k. Time to go back to Wendy's. This guy decided it would be a good idea to dump 300k into various risky options in the futures. Notice while all his blue chip stocks are in the green, while meanwhile his degenerative trades are well. In the comments, OP said, Seems like the general consensus here is to just close all positions, stop trading altogether, and invest in index funds. I think that might be the best course of action because I'm worried about losing all my money. I can't even stand a 20k loss. The fact that he directly said, I can't even stand a 20k loss, means that his risk tolerance was nowhere near high enough to enter these risky positions. Please do not overestimate your risk tolerance. Pretty much every beginner investor says that they have a high tolerance and then proceeds to lose all their money in degenerative trades. Let's be a lesson to you. How in the ever-loving hell did he go from 400k down to $1 million up and not sell? According to OP, the trade turned 80k to 1.3 mil. If a return of 1,600% wasn't enough to make him sell, nothing would have. Please don't let greed take over and just sell. I think this guy puts it best. In all seriousness, a lot of people may think that every trade is a 50-50, a coin flip. But there are a lot of things that investors do that give them less than a 50% chance of making money, such as throwing your money into risky investment ideas you see posted by someone in a Reddit echo chamber. I don't know, just a thought. Okay, let's end this off with something to remember. This has gotta be the worst thing I've ever seen. We've reached the peak of stupidity. So you know how 2022 was a pretty bad recession, right? That must have been what was going through this general's head when he sold naked puts on SPY, expiring the same day. If you don't know, selling naked puts means that you're betting that the share price goes up. They have a limited potential profit and a large potential loss. But wait, it gets better. He sold these on the same day that Jay Powell gave a speech. Historically, any day that he talks, it is extremely volatile and usually goes down. So what am I saying? This might be the single dumbest thing I've seen on WallStreetBets. The fact that the put expired the same day he sold it means that he has no time to close the position if it goes wrong. It's all or nothing. In this case, the market absolutely tanked after Jay Powell's speech. $1 trillion evaporated from the US economy. So what does that leave him with? I kid you not, a negative 14,000% loss. Good luck topping that one. So let the plight of unlucky WallStreetBets degenerates help teach you a lesson. That's it for today's video. I hope this video was informative or at least entertaining. Please like, comment, and subscribe to boost this video in the cruel YouTube algorithm. There's some free stocks for you in the description and pinned comment. And as always, I wish you all green portfolios and I'll see you in the next one.